You're listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, the Gentleman Bastards edition, where we discuss the Lies of Locke Lamora, book 1 of the series by Scott Lynch. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Today we're covering the 7th interlude, called Up the River. In this chapter, Locke becomes a farm boy destined to seek his fortune, and we learned that Chains ain't no fortunate son. Rosanna, what do you consider a revelation from this interlude?
I think the biggest revelation from this interlude is this chunk of Father Chain's past that we get.
Yeah.
That he was a farmer, that he was a black jacket, that he got very sick, that's where he met Don Maranzala. So we get this sort of piece of his history that gives us a little insight into, what we know about him from this current time in his life. Well, current and also in the past. Current to him, but past because it's an interlude, because, confusing.
Wait, is this more time travel? Don't do it. Don't.
So we get, this piece of his young adulthood that we didn't know.
We also get to find out, which I thought was really fun, that how he kind of got started in the whole Order of Paralandro in the first place.
Yeah. Because
that's who kind of saved him.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder where he went from being helped out by people in that order to... I wonder if he was a kind of real priest for a while.
And then took it over and completely changed it.
Or if he was pretending the whole time and just used that to his advantage learning about that order.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's recognized as a real priest, if he'd be recognized to other people of the order.
Yeah.
We don't really meet anyone else from the order. It seems like maybe there's just kind of one temple per god per town.
Right. That
which
sounds
makes sense.
right to me. Yeah.
That's how the Romans did it.
Well, if the Romans did it that way, then...
I could be completely wrong. I'm just thinking of the oracle on the hill.
People are listening here, they're going... Oh my gosh, you guys.
Read a history book.
Research!
What was your favorite quote this time?
I don't think anybody will be surprised that this is the quote I picked.
Uh-huh.
Father Chains is talking to Locke about being sick and being left to die. And Locke says, "But you didn't die." And Chains says... Clever lad to deduce that from such slender evidence after living with me for just 3 years. Oh, the sarcasm.
So much.
So much. I love it.
We start out in the burrow, and Locke's about 10 at this point, because we find out, as you said from the quote, that he's been with Chains for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Locke and the twins are learning the card game Rich Man, Beggar Man, Soldier Man, Duke, which is made for cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can cheat better, they're going to practice all week.
And then they're mad at Father Chains for always winning, and he's like, this is literally why we're playing, is so you learn how to cheat. Of course I'm cheating.
Locke gets to go away for a few months to a farm, and the twins are so upset that he's leaving. Gallo says, "Yes, best wishes for a safe journey, Locke. Savor the country air," said Gallo. "Stay as long as you like."
We hope you don't die. Yeah.
This chapter is full of sarcasm. It's fantastic.
It really is, yeah.
We learn that up the river is another literal up the river. It's up the Angevine.
Yeah.
To go up to the farm. And they're going to dress up as people from the order of Dama Eliza. I kind of wanted to know how Chains either got into or learned how to pretend to be in so many different orders.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's technically a member of every order, of every god in this city.
Maybe so.
They start their trip, and we get to see a lot of the Elderglass. So we learn some more about it, which I thought was really nice. It's really pretty. There are lots of lovely things we get to see. Yeah. Also, it seems to affect more than just light. It seems to keep the burrow cooler than it really should be.
Right.
So it has additional properties we didn't know about, or at least it seems to.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it.
We learn about all the different towers, the 5 towers. They have all these turrets and spires and walkways. There's the Dawn Catcher, which is silver red. Black Spear is obsidian. Westwatch is violet with veins of white pearl through it, which sounds beautiful. Amberglass has these elaborate flutings the wind kind of whistles through and makes these eerie melodies. And then The palace of the Duke is Ravensreach. It's the tallest, the biggest. It looks like molten silver, and it has this sky garden at the top. The mental image in my head of this just is gorgeous because the vines are trailing over the side from the sky garden. They're still hundreds of feet off the ground. Just sounds completely beautiful.
Yeah, except the whole going back from one side to the other, from one tower to another, sounds horrible.
There are all these, they call them glassine cables that apparently had been found in some cavern somewhere hundreds of years ago that they're now using, which I found interesting that all the Elderglass isn't just where it was and some sort of construction. They have found things and are then using it in different ways.
Yeah, they
actively
made cables out of glass.
Yeah.
I mean, this book, I can't even right now. What? What is this glass? It's so crazy.
They would have to CGI that because there's no way they could make anything strong enough that was clear that it can consider would hold up these baskets of people and cargo. They're moving. And it's a badge of honor for the nobles to go bouncing scarily across the ways. Also, what sounds beautiful is the 6-story waterfall that comes off the side.
Yeah.
And also, you get a better picture of Camor, too, because we find out the 5 towers are up on this plateau that is quite higher than the rest of the city, also. Locke and Chains are in a cart. They pass the 5 towers. They're traveling on their way to the farm. They pass the Vexationers, the tax collectors and customs agents. And these... I couldn't even picture what it looked like, but I guess I could. I was picturing black chef hats. There were these tall, brimless black hats that they were wearing.
Yeah, I don't know really what else they could be.
I've never seen a hat like that. Also, what's the point of a hat like that? Why do chefs wear that kind of hat? What does it
I don't know.
do?
Why would a chef wear a hat that goes straight up?
It's not like you can hide anything in the hat. Maybe you could, but it seems so. Well, I guess Ratatouille.
I was going to say,
that's it.
You could hide a rat. That teaches you how to cook.
You wouldn't.
I also hope that.
Such a weird premise.
It's a very weird movie. Why would you just wear a hat that goes straight up that has no brim? The whole point of a hat is the brim, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're outside, the point of a hat is the brim. I don't know. I mean, what's the point of a beret? That's not the brim. Berets don't have brims, so what is their purpose? Is it just a look?
So according to the internet, these sorts of hats that chefs wear, that look kind of like souffles, have been around since the early 1800s. And the color white signifies cleanliness. And the folds, something about eggs, which is very...
Why would you need a hat to look like what you're making?
Different heights indicate rank within a kitchen. Of course, the head chef gets the tallest hat.
Oh my gosh.
Though I've never seen Gordon Ramsay wear a giant chef's hat.
He is so high up, he doesn't even have a hat.
The many folds are symbolic of the many ways to cook an egg, which seems like a stretch for an explanation.
It really does. Hey, Cheekies, if any of you know why chefs wear tall white hats with no brim, send us a message and let us know.
If there's a real reason for it.
If there's a real reason.
I suspect there's not.
And if you actually are a chef and you wear one, I would love some details about that too.
Do you hide things in it?
Please tell me you do. Please. Even if you don't, just tell me you do. Just make it up, because I would love that.
That's where I keep all my secret recipes.
That's where I keep my mohawk that I'm not supposed to have at work.
I'm going to say my verdict is that chef hats are ridiculous.
Okay.
And just symbolic.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
So are we going with that with these people also then?
Yes.
These hats are just part of their uniform and they have no real purpose.
Fully symbolic.
Except to identify them as these people.
Just like the hats on the Beefeaters. The Queen's Guards.
The what?
The Queen's Guards, the Beefeaters.
Beefeaters?
With the big tall, fluffy kind of hairy black hat.
Oh, the actual Queen's Guards.
Yes, the English Queen's Guards.
They're called Beefeaters?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In the Sherlock episode.
I remember that episode, but I didn't know that's what they were called. Beefeaters. That's what the guards are called, or that's what the hat's called?
From Wikipedia, it looks like Beefeaters are what the Tower of London guards are called, which don't have the giant hats, but the Queen's Guard does have the giant hats.
Okay. Why are they called Beefeaters?
It used to be.
Were they the only ones that were allowed to have meat? Is that weird? I don't know.
It looks like they're called Beefeaters because it's a nickname. It originally came from Buffeteers, which were guards in the palace of the French kings.
It doesn't have anything to do with eating beef?
No.
That's frustrating.
Oh, wait, maybe it does.
Oh, you internet, with all your twists and turns.
There are so many. Apparently, some of the Tower of London guards were paid part of their salary with chunks of beef.
Yeah, I like that. I am liking that one. So if you take that into current times, then I guess regular people that work are just like money spenders.
What?
Because we work for money.
Oh my God.
And we spend it. So you could just call us money spenders.
Oh, that's a terrible parallel.
I mean, it's accurate though, so.
Isn't everyone a money spender?
I don't know. Not like the people that live on top of mountains that you climb up and ask them advice.
I'm pretty sure those people only exist in comics.
Damn it. Well, there goes my mountain climbing trip.
Also, near the gate are a whole bunch of beggars who were claiming wounds from wars that ended long before they were born.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me of some of the homeless in Portland.
Oh my gosh. Homeless and pregnant and it's a man.
I have seen that sign before.
I know.
There are trends I see with the signs people.
Oh, really?
People have here. I saw that one a lot, and a lot of women, it seemed like every homeless woman had the homeless and pregnant sign.
Right, of course.
Not too long ago, I saw a guy who looked about 30 who had a sign that said he was a Vietnam vet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, either he has aged really well, or he's a time traveler. Maybe it was Eric Bana. I don't know.
Maybe it was a vampire.
It was just Keanu Reeves. Have you seen all those pictures of Keanu Reeves throughout history?
Yes. And also the old picture of somebody who just he looks like.
It's him. He's really a vampire.
It's not really him.
I'm going to post that because it's
do
great.
It. Yeah.
So listeners, there are these pictures people have found, paintings and old historical pictures that look like Keanu Reeves from hundreds of years ago.
They really do.
And because he hardly seems to age.
He really doesn't.
Of course, the logical conclusion is that he's immortal.
I mean, really, that is the most logical conclusion.
Occam's razor.
Yeah, exactly.
Must be immortal.
It must be.
The walls are 20 feet thick.
Yeah.
That is really thick. I imagine there must be tunnels inside the walls or something for people to travel in between. Mm-hmm. But still.
I mean, that's bigger than the wall from Game of Thrones, right?
Is it wider?
I mean, wider, yeah.
Is it wider? I'm not sure.
Isn't it?
I would imagine. It's 700 feet tall, so it would have to be pretty wide.
Yeah, but 20 feet?
To be able to support that sort of height? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it were wider than that.
Let's just say they're the same.
We learned the point of the trip, basically, is for Locke to learn what it's like to be just a regular working person who doesn't have much money. Farmer, yep. Teamster, vet, bandit, all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. What do you think he's going to need this skill for? Rosanna, do you think he's going to use it at any point when we see him?
I'm sure he will. I don't think that Father Chains would have taken him. If he didn't already see an opportunity for this. I think it's good for humbling, because we know that Locke is not humble at all.
It's true.
And then also for him to learn how to act like somebody that doesn't have money, or somebody that has to work for a living, or information about living in the country. So if he needs to pretend to be somebody that's from the country, there's lots and lots of little bits of things that he can pick up that could come in handy, and you just never know when you're going to need them.
It's true.
And I really think that Father Chains is good at seeing, okay, this is something that these kids need to know, because there's a good chance it's going to come up.
They're becoming really well-rounded thieves.
They really are, yeah. Which is why they have, $4 million or something?
Something like that. Yeah. Some large amount.
They're like, we didn't have anything planned for this money anyway. I mean, they say that kind of stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We also find out more about the Black Jackets and the Yellow Jackets, who apparently don't get along with each other. Black Jackets are mainly from the country, up north. Yellow Jackets are mostly city folk.
Right.
And the Black Jackets get some land leased for the rest of their life after 25 years of service, like Jean's Mr. Miyagi, Glass, Rose's teacher.
Yes. Don Maranzala.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And like you said, we find out Chains had been a black jacket. It was 30 years ago, so it's been a while. And only 3 people made it back from his town. It's sad only 3 people made it back from the war to Villa Cenziano, where Father Chains is from. And that's how we
Right.
find out about Father Chains' connections. One is
Right.
the farmer Locke's going to go stay with, and the other one is the Don, Jean's
Right.
teacher. Next week reading is Chapter 8, The Funeral Cask, and the following interlude called The Half-Crown War. Any predictions based on the names?
The funeral cask. Like a cask, like what Nazca was brought in.
I think so.
Well, that doesn't sound good. I'm not surprised that they're talking about a funeral. It seems like that makes sense. But I'm hoping that this chapter is going to be the confrontation between the Grey King, in quotation marks, and Kappa Barsavi. So now I'm wondering, is the funeral Nazca's? Or is it somebody else's that dies during the confrontation? Or is it multiple people? Or are we putting off this confrontation another chapter and we're going to have a funeral first? Because Scott Lynch, what are you doing to me? And having a cask, maybe that's like, we're having a funeral, we're all going to drink a bunch of beer like a keg.
Maybe.
I don't know why you'd name a whole chapter after that, but
It's just 30 pages of people getting drunk.
of people drinking at a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then
really deep descriptions of what the amber-colored liquid looks like in the cut crystal glass.
And a lot of I love you, mans, you're my best friend. Yeah. And then give me the title of the interlude again.
The Half-Crown War.
So how much did we say a half a crown is?
I don't remember. It's not a huge amount. I mean, it's not...
Right, not a lot.
Not
okay.
pennies.
So this is my crazy, no basis guess. So there we were. The boys are still learning stuff, and there's some sort of a competition between them set up by Father Chains, and the prize is a half a crown. That's the best I've got. I have no idea.
That actually brings up a question I have for you.
Okay.
Do you think that Locke is an adult where we've seen him? Is he still paying off the blood debt from the kids that died when he was younger because of his mistakes?
I can't imagine he is in the present. I think it probably took him a while, but I think he took care of it when he was still a child, before he was 20.
Okay. Because I wouldn't think he'd be taking the money from their collective jobs for that. Because it was supposed to be money he made himself.
That does, yeah, that sounds right, at least with what we've seen of Father Chains. He would have said, no, you need to earn this on your own on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But at least when Father Chains told Locke that's what he had to do, to me, Locke seemed resigned to that that's what was going to have to happen and motivated to just get it taken care of so he could move on. So I feel like he probably tried to take care of that pretty quickly.
It's probably one of those things, too, that like compound interest where it started out in teeny little piddly amounts.
Yes.
But as he got older and better,
yeah.
He was able to bring in more money at a time and pay it off even faster.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me either that if after he had been living with the twins and with Jean for a little while, they said, hey, let's go do this job together and you can take all the money from it, side things, but, let us help you out because we're family.
That's a nice thought.
I hope that's what happened. And just don't tell Father Chains. Not like you could get anything over on that guy. I think that guy knows everything, but it might be a nice way for them to bond, to help each other out.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at SomeCheek and Facebook.com/SomeCheek.
You can also visit our website and send us questions and learn about our other podcast. The website is somethingcheekypodcast.com.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.